Hello, I'm doing a video again of the same thing because I didn't hit record the first time like a dummy. My name is Joanne Cornell and I'm from A Roses Creations. And some of the stuff is going to already be done, but I'm just going to explain it because, like I said, I just recorded a video, or I thought, but didn't hit the record button. What a blooper that is. If I had security cameras down here, I would be able to, but I don't have any security cameras down here right now anymore. So I can't even laugh about it. So I am going to do this all over again. Any other videos? There's going to be 4 of them total. This is the last one. You can watch the rest of them. Kind of doesn't matter what order because you're going to get what I'm talking about in one and the other. I'm using the Crock Pot Method here, and I used the Levo method in the first 2. Sorry, I'm not going to be touching any food, so I don't have to wash my hands, but I do. I did wash them, and I got what I needed to do, but now I just touched my hair like a dummy. So, Crock Pot Method. I have one that's oil and it's finished, so I'll be able to show you that. And then I have one that is butter, and I'm going to show you the starts of that, so that way you know what's what. So what I did is 6 sticks of butter, and I put them in the crock pot. And then I took the cannabis, and because I am using trim, I used 2 ounces of trim instead of 1 ounce of flour. So it's 1 ounce of flour or 2 ounces of trim. And then what I did is put it in a cheesecloth, which I showed you the whole process, but that didn't, yeah. So I took the cheesecloth, had it spread out. It's probably about 1.5 feet long by like 2 feet long. And then what I did is I took the short ends and put them together, tied a knot. Then I did the long ends, tied them together, put them in a knot. And then what I do is, if you can see some cannabis, which most of the spots you can't, but in one spot here you can, so what I did is just tuck in one of these little tags, and it holds the cannabis in there, so you don't end up getting any cannabis leakage in there. This way you don't even have to, see, this is good trim. I did this and put it in there, and I can see pieces of, I can see keef on my butter. So, and this is what I call my tea bag. So, I take the tea bag and then I put it in here. There is 6 sticks of butter. 6 sticks of butter. And then I'm going to put this on top of here and put the cover on. And it's going to go on low heat. You're gonna be tempted to put it on high heat, and then I'll hurry up and go turn it off just because I want it to, I want it to melt quicker or whatever. Do yourself a favor and just don't, okay? Just don't. Did it to mine, left it too long, obviously, because this is why I'm talking about it. I had it on high, left it too long, and ended up burning out the whole thing because I ended up, yeah, that's not good. So now I take this, I'm going to plug it into the corner over there, and then I'm going to let it melt. And then a couple hours from now, I'll come over and I'll stir it. And then a couple more hours from now, maybe 3-4 hours from now, I'll go stir it. Whenever I think of stirring it, in between a couple of shows or in between doing something, and then come back, or, do an errand, come back, stir it, let it go. Most recipes say a minimum of like 6 to 8 hours. I always let it go at least 24 hours. You can let it go longer. You probably don't have to. No reason to, seeing as they say 8 and I'm doing it 24. But that's how I roll. I want to make sure I get as much of it as I can out of it. Then, when I'm done, you're going to get this. I'm doing this in the basement because my boyfriend Dennis, boyfriend/husband, whatever you want to call him, Dennis, doesn't like the smell of cannabis. So when it's cooking, it has a strong odor and it goes permeates all throughout the house. So he can't even go to bed without smelling it, and he's like, oh, I can't sleep with that smell in the house. So I'm like, okay. So down in the basement, I put myself, and I kind of like it because he didn't even know I was doing it. A1 for me. So downstairs, I will just have to make sure I do it before he ends up having his friends over. Sorry about that. Okay, so here's the pot. So I had been mixing it, and I flipped the tea bag over too. So the tea bag is in there, and this is what it looks like. And then, so when I go to mix it, I mix it, and then I take the tea bag and I flip it over so the other side, so it gets part of what is on the top pot, you know, the cannabis, because some of it is in the water, oil, and some of it isn't. And then I keep doing that in order to get my product here, my meds. And then I take this and I put this in a glass container. Don't put it in a plastic container. I might melt it. I probably, depending on if it's a little, you know, like a salad thingy or a bowl, it won't. But, you know, recycled containers, some of them are too thin with cheap plastic. It's not gonna. And then this is what it looks like. And I can't, let me see if I can show it to you on the camera here. This is in a shallow spoon. I'm not sure how much you're going to get of this. I think I might have to take the camera. Oh, I'm going to take the camera to it. Is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to try to hold it with my left hand because I can get the camera with my right. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. So I can show you. So that's what it looks like. And then this is what it looks like in the pot. I'm going to put that in there just so I don't drop it. And then that's what it looks like in the pot. So, and then I poured some in the jar. And this is what it looks like in the jar. So that is, and I can do it up against the light wall even, so you can see. It's pretty dark. You know? So, I also wanted to show you my milk. Okay, so now I'm going to finish this really quick, and then I'll tell you about the rest of the stuff. Sorry, I'm trying to remember everything I did at the first video. So now I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to put it right back into the original jar. So I'll pour this in here, let it cool off a little bit, and then it'll go back either into the refrigerator or on my counter. Probably leave it out because it gets thicker than I like it to be. So I'll leave it out. And then what I do is add it into my salad dressings. When I make salad dressing and salads for me, I put in my salad dressing, especially because most of the time when I'm eating salads at nighttime, so I use it as a snack. I'll pour some of that salad dressing on there, and that'll be that. Then I also, in my other videos, you can see, because I did these in the Levo machine, so you can see the difference between one and the other. This is honey, natural, just been sitting in the jar waiting to be doing something. And then this is it infused. So 1 cup to 1 cup. So 7 grams is a cup. I use trim, so I use 14 grams instead. But that's how that goes. And then I have, this is the oil that I just did. The butter is going, or will be going. And then I did milk. So I did milk, and this is going to be my use because I don't want anybody getting sick on it, because if they take it and they put it in their car and they forget about it or whatever. So this is just going to be for me. But the milk in here is 1 cup. Put it in a Levo machine, and I put 14 grams, which is 2 cups of cannabis trim, because that's what I had. But it would be flour, it would be half that amount, and then let it go in the machine, and then what it came out was that. Sorta, taste-wise, it sorta tastes like goat's milk. There is a difference between regular milk and goat's milk, and if you ever have tasted goat's milk, you'll know. And this sorta tastes like that. It's got that same grass. I can't explain it, but it's a grassy taste to it. So I have it in my coffee right now. I did the honey yesterday, and I also did the milk yesterday, and I took some of the honey, and what I do in the levo machine is, in case you haven't watched the other videos, but if you have, I'm sorry, what I do is with the levo machine is I take and I do the first batch, the strong and the recipe, and then I do a second batch, and I do the first batch. Was doing it because first batch I was doing it for patients, so I do the first batch for patients that had a tolerance to cannabis, and then I did the second batch to a beginner, and that's what I would do. Like, if you're starting out on cannabis, you don't have that higher tolerance, so if you end up, sorry, you don't have the higher tolerance. I gotta stop talking with my hands is what I gotta do. So if you don't have the higher tolerance, you need to have a lower dose, you know what I mean, to be able to do it. So I wanted them to get used to being able to use the same amount as much as it possible, because that way when I got into the higher dose, they use the same amount and it wouldn't be unnatural to them to have to change the amount and change the thing. And then if they, they did a couple because they thought, they didn't know any better. You know how that works, where you eat a quarter of a brownie. I'm sure everybody's had that story by now, or maybe you haven't, but I'm going to give you a warning. If somebody tells you they got a good strong brownie and you take a quarter of it, take only a quarter of it. Listen to the person who made it. Because I took a quarter of it and I didn't feel anything, so like an hour and a half after I took another quarter of it, and boy, I was in deep doo-doo an hour later. I couldn't even drive home. I was freaking I drove into a parking lot. As soon as I started feeling it, I drove into a parking lot, I parked my car there, and I stayed there for like 3-4 hours taking a nap. So yeah. It didn't hurt me, and I felt it. I knew what was going on. I was like, oh boy, it's not happening. I started even to vomit, so that was no good. A projectile vomited, actually. Opened up the car door as I was driving, good thing it was in the middle of the night, so it didn't matter. And then got to the parking lot, kept going a little bit more, and then took a nap and woke up, and I was better, and I drove home. But, yeah. So I took 15 mLs of the water that I put in with the old pods that had the honey in it. So remember, it still has honey in it. That was infused, and it also still has the cannabis in there. That has some stuff probably still in there. It's not all out. It's not guaranteed you're going to get 100% into your infusion and nothing left in the plant, because that's not how it works. So I use it again. When it comes to the oil, I will bake with this. So I'm going to take this now, and I'm going to let it finish leaking. When it's done dripping in here, I'm going to take the greens, and I'm going to put the greens in a ice cube tray. So I'm going to take the greens, put it in an ice cube tray, and then I'm going to take some oil, and the infused oil, and I'm just going to fill in the ice cube trays where the greens actually didn't fill in space, because it's leaves, so I'll fill it in with oil. Then I let it, put it in the freezer, ice cubes, put them in the freezer. Then I take out a freezer, and I pop out the ice cubes, and I put it in a plastic bag, and it's 1 ice cube per recipe, 1 box of cookies or brownies or cupcakes. So 1 ice cube, 1 And I make the mini muffins. So I make the mini muffins because that way I get the individual size right. They're pretty much the same damn size, you know. And that way I know what one dose is. And I can eat 2 at nighttime, 2 or 3 at nighttime. During the day, in the morning if I eat 1, in the afternoon if I eat 1, I'm good. Yeah, but like you would probably go stronger than that. You could probably go stronger than that. I like to try to do less than what I need than more than what I need as far as medication. So, like this, subscribe. My battery's dying, so I gotta go. Like this, subscribe, share, and thank you for supporting and watching my videos. And I hope one day they get better because I'll be able to do some editing. But right now, I don't know how. So this is why it's going to be 4 videos. Because I need to show the beginning of the process, the end of the process. And I'm also showing 2 different processes. I showed the Levo machine and I showed the Crock Pot machine. I do not have the magic butter machine anymore because I sold it. I bought it for, I think it was like 70 bucks, 80 bucks or something like that. And I think I sold it for like 30, 20 or 30, something like that. I just wanted it going because, yeah, I didn't think I'd ever want to use it again, but I probably could have tried to show you the other process, though I failed at it. Yep, so have a good day.